ladies, did you enjoy lunch? Did you enjoy it? Okay, good. Feeling re-energized, feeling good. Well, I have good news before we start. I have good news for Miss Hillary Alexis John. Your license has been, they're screaming like she won $1 million. No, her license has been found. So Miss Hillary Alexis John, we got your license. Okay. Okay, let's start from the top. Let's start from the top. Thank you. Okay, so I trust lunch was enjoyable. I had some backstage, so it was good. And the conversations were engaging, enlightening, and inspiring. And now, our featured Conversations That Count, the permission to put yourself first, will be all that and more. You know, the most accomplished women will tell you there's no shame in asking for what you want, and we're about to explore how to find success and happiness by making yourself priority number one with a woman who knows how to be number one and is helping millions follow that lead. In fact, beloved actress, entrepreneur, and our featured guest, Tia Mowry, is one of the most prominent voices on social media with more than 21 million followers. She's been in the spotlight since a teen when she starred in the hit series Sister Sister, with her twin Tamara winning 2 NAACP Image Awards. Recently, she had a smash hit with the Netflix series Family Reunion, acting alongside one of this year's Women of Power Legacy Award honorees, Loretta Devine. It doesn't stop there. Tia is also a top chef and cookbook author with a show on the cooking channel, Tia Mowry at Home. Motherhood was the subject of her best-selling first book with the fabulous title, Oh Baby, Pregnancy Tales and Advice from One Hot Mama to Another. She knows how to make every minute count, and she's going to give us an inside look right now. Our moderator is Emmy Award-winning journalist, social justice advocate, and Black Enterprise 40 Under 40 honoree Tashara Parker. And now, welcome actress and entrepreneur Tia Mowry and journalist Tashara Parker.
Can you guys hear us? Oh, yeah.
I know.
This is fantastic.
Do we sound all right? Hello. Boy, we're in a room full of women of color. Can you give yourselves a round of applause? Oh. Tia, how you feeling?
You know, I am feeling fantastic.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why I just feel so great right now is what you just already said. Mm-hmm. This is a room filled with amazing, strong, beautiful, smart Black women.
Yep.
I have, of course,
yes.
I have, of course, been in a room with a lot of people before, but this just feels so different. Mm-hmm. And I already just feel the love, the community, the support, so I think this is gonna be fun.
Okay, so we want to start off exactly that way, love and community. So I went to dinner last night. I met a woman, she's from Amazon. I don't know if you're in here, raise your hand, somewhere in here.
I think she's
met
over
her.
there.
Where is she?
There she
Just
is.
scream for us. There you go. That's Danielle, but I met her friend last night, Danielle Cerency Jones, and they were talking about, she has daughters,
yes.
One that's 30, one that's, I believe, in her 20s, a couple in her 20s, and she has a 9-year-old daughter
yes.
as well. And one of the things that she said is sister is generational, right? And it's having an impact on all of her children. And I'm sure that's a story that a lot of us can agree with. So I want to hear from you. When you hear someone say that this is something that's generational, what does that mean for you to know the impact that you're having?
I mean, right there. It makes me feel so great. It makes me feel good. I actually just finished taking a photo with her. To know that I did this show over 25 years ago, and to still see that it has the huge impact that it has now, it just makes me feel like I have, you know, an incredible purpose. Mm-hmm. And that's why I do what I do, no matter what it is, whether I'm being an entrepreneur, whether I'm being a mom, whether I'm being a best friend, a daughter, a sister. It's to inspire, it's to encourage people. Life is hard enough, right? And if I'm able to have the platform that I have to be able to make people feel good about themselves, then I feel like, that's why I'm here. So it makes me feel great.
And I feel like it's important to really just talk about this journey, because I feel like we've all been on this journey with you, right? You have so many supporters. Reveal what it was like for you, Tia, just growing up in the public eye. How were you able to balance that, or were you able to balance it all the time? So talk about what it was like for you, or has been like.
Yeah, growing up in the public's eye, I'm very real and authentic. It was hard. You're basically going through growing pains in front of the world. You're learning more about yourself, you're making mistakes, there's, a lot of peer pressure, influence, but I always say that I just feel so grateful and blessed, actually that's the word, blessed, to have had the support and the foundation that I have still to this day. And that is my family, my mom and my dad. I don't know if there's any people in here that were Army brats or grew up in the, on base. What is it, hoo-ah? But my mother was a drill sergeant.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So, I guess I can tell this story rather quickly, just so you can kind of understand. I remember I was going to my first play ever. I was around 18, 19 years old. I was dressed to the nines in a gown, going to go see Phantom of the Opera. And I was heading out of the house, and my mom said, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I'm about to go, watch a play." She said, "You're not going anywhere until you finish cleaning up this kitchen." And I was like, I'm like in a gown, like how am I gonna, She was like, "You didn't finish sweeping the floor." And so okay, yes ma'am. I ended up sweeping the floor in this gown, and a friend at the time was going with us. She had taken a photo because she was like, "People will not believe this, that this is like your dynamic, at home." But that's what it was. Like, my mom and my dad, it was all about integrity, character, who you are as a person. Yes, you're famous, but that's not what's important to me. What's important to me is what you do with that. So I feel very grateful to have had that foundation. My mother was my mother. She wasn't my, of course she's my friend as well, but being a mother was first. And so there were rules, so I just really feel blessed to have had that. But it was hard, People are mean, they're bullies. I remember going on IMDb once Sister hit, and people saying mean things about my hair, my teeth, and just things that I couldn't change as a person, and that hurts, But again, to have such a supportive family, it really, really helped.
Your family, number one, obviously, in supporting you. Talk about, again, you get that feedback sometimes, unsolicited feedback. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there.
Yeah, very much
But
so.
you get that feedback, right, from folks who have really, they don't know you personally,
not
right?
at all.
How did you deal with that? How are you dealing with that?
I just tend to just focus on me. You know what I mean? And stay true to who I am. If I know who I am, and if I love who I am, then really who cares about what anybody else thinks in that way?
There you go.
So as long as, and I say this all the time, as long as I am able to look at myself in the mirror and say I'm a good person, I have good intentions, I feel like that's all that really matters. So that's kind of how I deal with that.
You've done a lot, Tia. We're backstage, and I'm like, girl, I'm reading through your bio, like, what are we gonna tell folks? You have done a lot in your life on this here earth, okay?
Yeah.
And so I really wanna talk about, obviously, starting off as an actress, but you've done so many other things since then, things that maybe people didn't expect Tia to do.
Yes.
How have you been able to navigate that?
I feel like how I've been able to navigate that is basically allow myself to be myself. Allow myself to live out my authenticity. Meaning I feel like sometimes, you know, growing up, we feel like we have to force ourselves, or force our way into a career or into doing something. And I feel like what I have done is just allowed myself to experience life, allowed myself to really find out who I am as a person, find out what I'm passionate about, and live from an authentic standpoint. And that's kind of like how I've navigated, you know, my career. For example, after I graduated from Pepperdine University, Sister Sister was over. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do with my life? But I knew that I was very passionate about cooking. And I was like, you know what, if I don't get another job, I'm gonna go to culinary school. But I ended up booking the game, so I didn't go.
Speaking of the game, no, I'm just kidding. Don't go there with the game.
But I think it was just me really learning who I was as a person, allowing myself to go through life, take my time, and really focus on things that I am passionate about. Because when you're passionate about something, I really feel like time is not really there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you could be working 14 hours, but if you're having fun, it really feels like 5. So I've just been able to be true to who I am and follow my passions and my goals and believe in myself.
You've talked a lot about authenticity,
Yes.
right? For You by Tia, for folks who don't know, that's one of your newest entrepreneur journeys.
Yeah.
For You by Tia, obviously a brand where you want folks to show up authentically as themselves.
Yes.
Talk about that brand and kind of the idea you had behind it. I saw on your TikTok, you know, you want your kids to love their tresses.
Yes.
So talk about your brand and kind of what was the journey to getting to that point as well?
So For You, for me, was and is all about encouraging women of color, women of, you know, diversity, to embrace themselves, to celebrate who they are, being authentic, being your authentic self. You know, growing up, especially in this industry, or just growing up, you know, as a Black woman, I feel that whenever I would see beauty being talked about, whether that was in magazines, on TV, just in conversation, it was focusing on European standards, meaning that's what beauty is. That's what being beautiful is. And I remember, even on Sister Sister, you know, for the people that watch Sister Sister, once I was able to be able to do whatever I wanted to do with my hair, because we started off with curly hair, but when I was old enough to do what I wanted to do, I went straight to straightening my hair, because I felt like that's what was, you know, quote unquote, beautiful. But, you know, and then also, I would even go out on auditions and stuff like that, and I remember not getting parts because a casting director specifically told myself when I had curly hair that I was a distraction, that my curly hair was a distraction when I was acting. So my point is that, you know, myself, I always didn't have a great relationship with, you know, my hair because of what society thought, you know, beauty was, until I ended up on Instagram and seeing this amazing, beautiful community where there were so many women like myself, meaning who were straightening their hair, putting perms in their hair, putting weaves in their hair to try to fit in. They were basically putting their foot down and saying, no more. I am no longer going to conform what society says is beautiful. I am beautiful just the way I am. And so I, you know, fell in love with my hair, and I did the big chop. So anyway, my point is that I created this line because I want to encourage women to do the same. I want to encourage women. I mean, there was a woman at my table that she said that she had used my product, and I'm just like, gosh, your hair and you are so beautiful in your natural state. And that's what I want. I want women to feel confident, to feel beautiful in, their authentic self.
Absolutely. You said a couple of things. You said a lot of things, but two of them stood out to me in this moment. One, you said, for the people who watch Sister Sister, can y'all please let her know that we all watch Sister Sister? Crazy. Yes, absolutely. You also mentioned your hair being a distraction. Can you just wave your hand if you've ever been told that or ever? Yes, absolutely, a distraction. How did you deal with that in that moment? I know you were young at the time.
Yeah, it made me feel insecure. It made me feel not like and that's why I'm always talking about saying I want us women to feel like we are a part of, valued, and a part of the conversation. It made me feel like I wasn't valued. It made me feel like I wasn't, important enough because, someone had said that my hair, which is my natural hair, was a distraction. And not only that, how dare you?
Right.
Like, how dare you feel like that's okay to even say?
Right.
You know what I mean? And to someone who doesn't look like me, you felt that it was okay and the need to say something like that. It made me feel less than. It made me feel like they were up here and I was down here. And again, this is not something that I can change. This is something that I was born with.
Right.
But, not anymore.
Okay.
Beautiful. I get what everybody else says. But yeah, so it didn't make me feel great.
I know.
And that's why I'm also really, with my son and with my daughter, I'm constantly encouraging them and just telling them how beautiful they are, how beautiful their hair is. Yeah.
Because how it feels to be in that situation.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Chase the Joy. We talked about this
yes.
on a couple of calls before today.
Yeah.
Chase the Joy was something that I've heard you mention a few times. And you revealed to me that this came from a friend of yours who also chases the joy.
Yeah.
What does that mean, and how do you live by that mantra?
Well, chase the joy, to me, basically means, first of all, you are worthy and deserving to chase the joy. I feel like sometimes we just don't feel like, we deserve to be happy or deserve to do what we love to do and have such a beautiful life. Chasing the joy means, in your head, what are the things that make you happy? What are the things that make you feel alive? What are the things that make you feel like you are making a difference in this world? Just feel good feelings, you know what I mean? And chasing the joy could be you saying, you know what, I want to get 8 hours of sleep tonight or 9 hours of sleep tonight, because when you do that, you feel good about yourself. So just things like that. And I'm a huge fan of mental health. I have therapy every Tuesday at 4. Not ashamed. Mental health is important. But my therapist, she was like, you know what? It's okay for you to focus on 5 things in a day that makes you happy, and do those things. Why can't you do those things? And not only why can't you prioritize doing those things? We all live busy lives, especially as women. I feel like we are hell of amazing multitaskers. And we tend to always put other people first before us. It's like, it's a part of who we are. It's in our DNA. We're nurturers. But at times, we forget about us and we forget about ourselves. And, once I started to just focus on chasing the joy, there's just this sense of joy and feeling, great. And my friend Adrienne Bosch, she was the one that told me that, and she is wonderful. And it's the importance of having the reason why I share that, it's the importance of having wonderful, amazing, beautiful women around you to support you and to support you in those kind of ways, you know what I mean? To give you those affirmations, chase the joy.
I feel like that's why we're here.
Yes.
This weekend.
Yes,
to make sure
exactly.
that we can learn how to chase the joy.
Exactly.
I feel like that's a perfect segue to my next question. You've been on a journey getting back to putting yourself first, of course, changing the way we define beauty, empowering self and other women. What does a fulfilled life look like? You talk about chasing the joy.
Ooh.
What does a fulfilled life look like for you?
A fulfilled life, what that looks like for me, oh my God, I'm gonna get emotional.
Oh, don't do it to you.
Is making my children happy. Being an example for them. I feel like talk is cheap. When you are an example, and children learn through observation, they learn through behavior, and feeling just fulfilled and fulfilling my purpose is showing my children that when you have a dream, when you have a passion, go for it. And you can do it. You know what I mean? Like, you can do anything that you put your mind to. And I just want to be that example for them. And when I see that I am,
I'm not going to stick to the script.
I'm
we
like,
can get some
where
tissue
are you?
paper out here,
He knows
or
I'm a
some
crier.
napkins, or come on and help us out. We don't have to stick
But yeah,
We're going to make this happen.
I'm a crier.
Black women
Sorry.
going to show up. There you go, love.
Jeez.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think me just being an example for my children, me doing whatever I can do to make the world a better place, inspiring people, encouraging people, leaving a legacy behind. And that legacy doesn't have to be this huge, massive legacy. That legacy could just be, you know, she put a smile on, you know, someone's face. She, you know, made someone feel confident and good about themselves. Yeah. And me being and living out my authenticity.
Yes.
Me being radically honest and truthful to myself.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes me feel fulfilled. Sorry, I didn't mean to cry.
You are good. I tell you what, you talk about putting smiles on people's faces, and you did it for us for years and years and years. Then with the invention of social media and all these other things, your TikTok is always on and popping. You had your leotard on and a blazer the other day. And I tell you what, you put a smile. Did anybody else see that video?
Oh
Am I the only one? If you didn't, you can go and find it.
Oh my gosh.
So you're always putting smiles on folks' faces. So when you talk about social media and you see the smiles that you bring to people on social media, what is that like for you, seeing just the response from the masses and being able to impact that many people at one time?
You know, it's encouraging. I think people are always telling me that I encourage or I inspire them. They inspire me. Sorry. They inspire me. They keep me going. I just feel that, and I can share a story. One of the first times I became extremely vulnerable was when I was very open about having endometriosis, which actually a lot of black women are affected by this particular autoimmune situation. But I was very nervous to talk about it. But what I realized and learned was in that vulnerability, and by me sharing my story and saying it was very difficult for me or hard for me to have children, and there was even a time in my life that I didn't even think I was going to be able to have children, I was so scared and nervous about what people will think and say about me. But I said, nah, I'm just going to share it. But my point is that in sharing that, in being vulnerable, I was inspiring others, but they were also inspiring me at the same time. So it goes hand in hand. So to answer your question, when I see people, you know, saying, you know, positive things or really nice things, you guys are filling up my cup just as much as I'm filling yours. So thank you.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup, so we got to empower each other.
Yes, we really
Absolutely.
do. So thank you.
I want you to tell me about a moment in your life. I hope I don't bring any more tears.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me about a moment in your life when you did not put yourself first.
Ooh.
And how did you navigate that?
Yes. I will say the one thing that kind of stands out for me, and I don't know if many women in here could relate, when I didn't put myself first was after really becoming a mom. When you become a mother, again, it's very instinctual for you to just be in survival mode. It's like everything is all about that child. Everything is all about taking care of your home, your kids, all of that. And then, you know, after 3 or 4 years go by and your child is 4 years old, you're so into that routine. You're like, you know, you're taking care of your kids, you're taking care of everybody else, and then you tend to look at yourself and you're like, wait a minute, what am I doing for me? What am I doing to make me fulfilled, or me feel healthy, me feel at peace, me feel happy? And so I realized that, you know what, for the first time, I remember I was so depleted. I'm talking about like fatigued, so tired, where we talk about filling your cup. It was like nothing was left. I was so drained. It was almost like as if I could have fainted, because I was just handling and juggling and doing so many different things, because that's what I thought being a woman is, or being a mother is doing and handling everything. And that's when I was like, you know what, nah, I cannot be. I was like, okay, how can I be the best mom? How could I be the best whatever it is that I was doing at the time, acting, best friend, sister, or whatever, if I am not full, if I'm not taking care of myself, how can I be that to my children? And then that's when it kind of shifted for me. And I said no, and that I actually started to use this hashtag a lot, self-care isn't selfish. Meaning, you're not selfish for taking care of you. You are not selfish for saying, you know what, I'm going to take time out for myself to go to dinner with my girlfriend. That fills your cup. Just you and your girlfriend. You know, no kids have to be around. Therapy. Spend 45 minutes, an hour in therapy. So that was, I would say, kind of like the first time I learned the importance of really taking care of you. Because at the end of the day, if you don't, there's going to be no more you left. Really. That's the reality of it.
I do want to ask you, when you got to that point, you were already tired and depleted, right?
Yes.
So what would be your advice for women, you know, the women in this room, the women that may be watching, what would be your advice for women to not get to that point?
I would have to say, first start with that awareness that you are deserving, that you are worthy of taking time out for yourself, and that taking time out for yourself is not selfish, it's not a bad thing. Also, your support system is really important. The people around you, are they encouraging you to do that? Or are they draining you? Are your friends, your family, you know, telling you, you know what, how are you today? Girl, you look tired. Take some time off. Go take care of yourself. I'll handle that. I'll take your shift, or I'll watch your kids, you know, for 2 hours while you go to the spa. And my friend Adrienne Bosch, she is that woman. I'm telling you, like, she will just see and feel it, and then I'll have flowers, like, you know,
So sweet.
at the house. And so it's like, being that for one another is so amazingly beautiful, to build that community around you and have that support around you. So my advice would be aware. of who you are around, who's draining you, who's supporting you, who's lifting you up, who's encouraging you to love on you.
Yep. I'm doing a series right now where you're talking all about mental health, and one of the subjects that they mention is the importance of community.
Yes.
Having the right people around
Yes.
you. Do you just have friends around you that are saying they have your back, or do they actually have your back
Exactly.
and are showing up in the moments when you actually need them?
Exactly.
So-
So important.
Absolutely, and clearly Miss Adrian,
Yeah.
gosh, she's doing that for you. So I want to go back to your hair care journey, and there's something we didn't discuss here, but we've heard it before. You talked about being called the buckwheat twin. When did you, let's talk about that moment, but I also want to tie it into when did your hair care journey begin for you to know and embrace your curls and coils?
Yeah. So when I was in middle school, my sister and I, we were both called the buckwheat twins. Like that was what they called us. We had, big curly hair. We had buck teeth, and we were bullied, basically. And some people probably wouldn't think that, It was terrible. When you're young and you're vulnerable and you're still learning about yourself and you have insecurities, and to have people, again, just talk about you in such, in my opinion, a racist way, was terrible. And I feel like that is one of the main reasons why I am an empath today. I'm such an empath, sometimes to a fault, but I don't want anyone to feel the way I felt when people were bullying me. So much, I remember even being in high school, that I would literally cater to the kids that were being bullied. I remember there was this one girl named Helen, I will never forget. We were in 3rd grade and she was from another country, and she didn't shave. She had hair on her legs, she had hair under her arms, and she didn't bathe every day. It was just a part of her culture. And instead of, picking on her, I would just talk to her, you know what I mean? And I remember we became really good friends. I became really good friends with a lot of the kids that were blind, that were deaf, because people were being so mean and so cruel to them. And I wanted to give them love and let them know that you're amazing. You know what I mean? You are a cool and awesome person. Thank you, bullies, because now I'm a better person, you know what I mean, because of it. But I embraced my hair. I touched on it a little bit in 2012 when Instagram came about. And we've been talking about community, why Instagram and social media can be a crazy, scary place, but also a beautiful place when used correctly. And it was around 2012, and I remember there was this amazing movement that was going on where a lot of women were chopping off their hair. It was called the big chop. I don't know, did any of you guys do that, the big chop?
Oh,
you guys know about the big chop? And I remember I cut my hair really, really short, and that was like, oh my gosh, I'd never, had done that. But it was then when I started to really embrace my curls, love my curls, take care of my hair, nurture my hair, love on me, you know what I mean? And say, this is me, this is who I am, and I love me, and I love all of me. So it was around that time.
30 minutes has flown by. We're
Really?
not done. Look,
Oh
down
my
here.
gosh, we're done in 54 seconds?
Don't tell. You're not supposed to tell everybody.
49, 48,
Don't you do that. So wait, real quick, before we get to that point.
Okay,
By the way,
okay.
we do have Q&A time for
yes,
the audience.
yes.
So the mic is up here, just so you know. It's going to be 10 minutes long.
Okay.
So real quick, affirmations or prayers that you recite daily.
Ooh, I am beautiful. I am strong. I am worthy of being loved.
Okay, give it up. Okay, so time is winding down, and I want to make sure I give folks enough. Give it up for Miss Tia Mowry, first and foremost.
This is so fun.
And I want to make sure that if you have questions, you have time to make your way down to the front. You can start doing that now. We have about 10 minutes, and they told me to make sure Tashara don't get out there talking too much. Stay on time. So that's what we're going to do for the folks here. Go ahead and come on up. State your name and then ask your question.
Hello.
Hi. I love your hair. So beautiful. So pretty.
Thank you. My name's Kira. I'm from New York.
York.
Love you both. So excited to be here. My question is around how do you navigate potentially feeling intimidated by the potential of your own success
Ooh, very good.
and getting past that fear of what you don't know is to come?
Ooh, you know, that is a really, really good question, and nobody has ever asked that. Sometimes, and I've said this to some of my friends or just my closest colleagues, it's really weird sometimes how you feel like, I don't know, like you feel, like you said, intimidated by your own success. It's almost like when you are successful, well, sometimes it's like, is this deserving? Am I deserving of this? And I often do hear that in my head. But how I navigate through that is, it's kind of like cognitive therapy. It's basically retraining your thought and replacing that thought with, yes, I am deserving. Yes, I am deserving. So even though you have those negative thoughts in your head, you have to replace them with a positive thought. And I'm a huge believer, it's interesting that you had, the last question was about affirmations, because I'm a huge believer in affirmations. Because whatever you speak to yourself is what you become and who you are. So continue to tell yourself, you are deserving of success. You are successful. Yeah, so I would say that.
Great question.
Yeah, great
Thank you.
question.
Hi, Tia.
Hi.
My name is Tanya, and I'm representing the wonderful ladies of Equitable Life Insurance Company today.
Awesome.
I do have a question. We've talked a lot today about mentoring and sponsorship, and you've talked a lot about different mentors that you've had in your life. So besides your mom, can you just talk a little bit about someone who's been an important mentor for you on your journey and some of the best advice that they have given you?
That is a really, really good question, because usually I always go straight to my mother. I go to my great-grandmother, who I only met previously because she was older when I met her. But, ooh, my mentor. You know, I would have to say just my support system. I have an incredible team around me. My agents, my managers, my lawyers. Again, it's about who you surround yourself with. And they've been in this business for a very long time. And whenever I feel lost, or whenever I feel kind of frustrated, or I don't know where to go, I always go to them. So it's, you know, I'm never like afraid to ask, you know, questions. But I would say my team, my publicist, Cece, she's amazing. I've known her ever since I was 15 years old. She has, you know, seen the ups and downs of this industry, this business. So if I'm like frustrated about something, she's like, let it ride, Tia, just ride it out, you know. But yeah, I would have to say definitely my team. But I mean, it's hard not to say my mother, because my mother, one thing that I did learn from my mother that I don't know if this would be helpful for you guys, she taught me, not just verbally, but physically, that your situation, whatever situation that you're in at the time, is not your prerequisite to your future.
Yep.
It's not what your future is going to look like. So if you are going through challenges, hard times, tribulations, that doesn't define you. That doesn't define what your future is going to look like and be like. So it's hard for me not to say my mother, because like she's a dreamer. She's always been a dreamer. She's a strong black woman. You know what I mean? And I've learned just so much from her through her actions.
Thank you. Thank you, Tia. And I can
Thank
finally
you.
say my childhood is concluded.
Ah,
Have closure now.
yay! Nice to meet you. Hi.
Tia.
Hi.
My name is Kia.
Kia.
I'm with the Travelers Insurance. Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First and foremost, thank you for everything that you said today. You've really resonated with me. I am a new mom. I also went through fertility issues, so thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
One thing that I want to ask you is, as you think about how you navigated the world from being a child celebrity or a young prodigy, and then kind of getting people to see and respect you as a businesswoman, how did you navigate that, and what advice would you give to those who are looking to do the same thing?
That is a good question. I think knowing and understanding that it is hard, knowing that it's not going to be an easy road, meaning, you know, navigating just through life is hard, but navigating through different careers and getting people to, you know, embrace what you want to do, you believing in yourself, and that whole journey, it's hard. But at the end of the day, you have to believe in yourself. And I know it seems cliche, and it's something that is like always beat, you know,
Yeah, they beat it down in your head.
it's said all the time. But if you don't believe in yourself, who will? So it just starts with you just walking in it. Even if it's not there yet, like everybody, like people around me, they will tell you, I have always walked like I was a business person, a CEO, an entrepreneur. I always walked that way with my head up high, my shoulders back. I've always done that. I've always believed in myself. And it starts there. So I would say that would be my advice to you, is just believe in you, believe in yourself, don't give up. You got this.
Thank you.
And walk like you already have it.
Yes, you got this. That's another affirmation I always say.
Which one? Walk like you?
You got this.
Okay.
Well, hello, Miss Tia.
Hi.
My name is Tanaya. My question for you is, you talked about mental health, and of course, mental health in the Black community is not something that's widely talked about or even
Yes.
accepted by our families.
Exactly.
What was your journey like in actually deciding, like, listen, therapy is something that I need to seek in order to help me?
Woo, I am so happy you asked that question. And it's the truth, what you said. It is so true that even when I told my mother, who is extremely religious, she was upset that I was studying psychology. Like studying psychology, like going to school to study psychology. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know, at the end of the day, again, what I've learned in my 40s is you have to do what's best for you. And if they really love you, they're gonna accept it. You know what I mean? Or they may not accept it, but so my point is, my mom, she knows that I'm in therapy, and now she actually really sees the benefits of it. You know what I mean? Because she sees the growth, she sees all of that, and then I'm also encouraging her with what I've learned. But this is a funny story, y'all, and this literally happened about a month and a half ago. My mom, she came over to the house, okay? I have all of my self-help books out. Okay? Lighter by Young Pueblo, like all of that. The Alchemist. She literally, like, I have like 4 or 5 books out, and I'm journaling, and then she goes, she's like, okay, where's your Bible? Right. I'm like, that's my mama. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm like, Mom, it's right there. I have it right here. It's right by my bedside. But at the end of the day, I have to do what's best for me. But I do think that this is important to say, you know, that it is true about our community because, you know, our culture, we're very enriched with religion, which is important. And I grew up, you know, in the church. And I personally believe that the two can work together.
Yep.
It can. So, yes, I love the Bible. It's amazing. It's wonderful. But also, I go to therapy as well. So,
Absolutely.
therapy.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
If we don't have any more questions, they say wrap them questions up. We're all
Okay.
good.
Okay, can we please stand and give Tia a round of applause for all of her amazing work that she's been doing?
Thank you.
Thank you. I want a picture, Tia.
A picture? Oh, okay, yes. Okay. This was like one of the best sit-downs.
Of course. Thank you, Tia and Tashara, for such a great conversation. That was so good. Ladies, another tool to add to the toolbox. Before we leave, I want everyone to know that you have been invited to a nightcap with AT&T, an after-hour, yes, nightcap tonight. It's going to be an after-hour conversation on culture challenges and clarity, but most importantly, it's going to include a live DJ, drinks, and some sweet treats. So show up, ladies, Tower Ballroom 5, tonight at 9 p.m. I will see you there. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.